solitary figure has arrived in motel and rented a motel room. Many people who see him think of him and refer to him as the man in the hat. He is alone in the Murgatroyd motel room, alone and quite content as he flips on the television set to see what is airing on CRZY TV this night.
Murgatroyd, you're watching CRZY.
The audio files presented here were discovered in the apartment of Apronhead after his suicide through self-immolation as he burned down the paper dough factory. The identities of the mental patients remain unknown, but paperwork which accompanied the cassettes indicated that they were former patients of Dr. Flipshire in Flattown and that both women had committed suicide and each had no known relatives. Dr. Flipshire agreed upon the release of these audio files to the public and we present them here now in their raw, graphic form.
I'm as nutty as a fruitcake. I'm crazy.
Hurt somebody else disease, I'm going to get hurt too. Which is what happened this last time. We don't get any peace of mind if I don't get revenge.
I'm as nutty as a fruitcake. I'm crazy.
When I wrecked the truck, I was thinking that my doctor finally tried to get suicide, but I don't believe I did. I was just driving fast on gravel road.
Let's face it, I don't exactly conduct my life according to what society deems acceptable now, do I?
I suddenly had this evil little urge just to drive right into the front of his office. And I did it.
I'm as nutty as a fruitcake. You can't accuse me of being dull or stupid. Really shouldn't mess with me. Bow down, grovel at the Queen Mother's feet. You're watching CRZY.
Thursday evening or Thursday night. So look for Uncle Martin Thursday night to come by. Okay, have Grandma and Grandpa. Don't forget, tell Aunt Grace Uncle Martin's coming Thursday. Okay, Ann. Love you. Bye.
And on that note, we will go to a commercial break and have a word from our sponsors. Now, this weekend at all triple flex theaters, terrifying double feature. I was a teenage cannibal and Diary of a Mad Drag Queen. Warning, in this special unedited edition, no one will be seated during the terrifying cross-dressing sequence. Opening Friday at a local theater near you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a random telephone call segment. I was.
Well, he said, okay, you know, and then just a minute ago he called me back. He was cussing and raving. And he said, tell that little son of a bitch to leave me alone. And I'll fucking leave him alone. I said, I'm going to whip his ass, but I'm going to you tell him that.
Oh, God.
She said, no, I'm not going to tell him I'm going to whip his ass. I'll just grab him and whip it.
He did. And that was our random telephone call sample. And now, another word from our sponsors. Stop by Grifty's for that super deluxe Ultra Burger. And don't just make it a double. Make it a double, double, double. This week's only special. Now, coming to a theater near you, Revenge of the Statue of the Buddha. See orgiastic, swanton abandon from monks whose desires have so long been suppressed that they explode on the screen in sensual fury. In sensual surround. We're going to have a commercial break, a word from our sponsors. And now, available at last on CD, available in all music stores. Country music hits. She was a frustrated woman. He was a disconsolate Indian with the skin disease left leg. And the classic. A slice of bread, a slice of ripple, and down beneath the overpass. And who can forget the all-time hit, Little Yonder Lady in all her glory. Ah, but keeping with the times, with these technological times, there's the timely hit. I had a flat on the information superhighway late last night. And now it's time for OSAR's and CRZY's roving weather helicopter report from the chopper above, letting us know what the weather's about. And here's your classic weather jingle. Whether or not you believe in the weather or not, the eyes have it. Yes, we have weather watchers, people. They go outside, and with their eyes, they look up at the sky to see if the sun's out. They look up at the sky to see if it's raining. And by God, they look up at the sky to see if it's cloudy. The eyes of OSAR will inform you daily whether or not you believe in the weather or not. The eyes have it. And remember, anytime, all time, every time you want to know what the weather is, just tune in to CRCY.
Talk shoes. Recorded live. Detroit, you're watching CRZY. Detroit, you're watching CRZY.
Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Now I must turn to a more serious matter. It's time for interviews or us. And today, I, Hugh Millicent, am going to interview Dr. Derrickson. He was Apron head psychiatrist. And we're going to get Dr. Derrickson's insight. And after that, we're going to have the hillbilly psychiatrist from Flattown. He's going to offer his psychoanalysis of Apron Head, his determination of what went wrong and why. But first, let's talk to Dr. Derrickson. Dr. Derrickson, exactly what's your assessment of Apron Head?
Well, obviously the child was clinically depressed. I think he had a neurosis. There was a neurotic aspect, and at the same time he slipped over into absolute, complete psychotic behavior. Hence the homicidal act on the owner, the president of the paper doll factory. And then the self-immolation when Apron Head doused himself with gasoline and then lit himself. There was this incredible destructive act. He wanted to go out with a bang. He wanted to go out big. He wanted attention, and he got the media attention. The catastrophic debacle with the paper doll factory burned down and all those poor people out of work. And even more disturbing than all of this is the psyches of all the little children who bought the flashy paper dolls. Now they're going to be impacted by this terrible, dreadful act. I fear that the flashy paper doll is forever tainted. I fear that these young kids will just forever be traumatized by the fact that the inventor and developer of the flashy paper doll turned into a homicidal
suicidal. What can you say? What else can I say? It's beyond words almost. Well, thank you, Dr. Derrickson. I can see this is a difficult time for you as it is for all of Murgatroyd. The loss of the paper doll factory. I worked there as a youth directly across from Vincini Cosmetics. The loss of the paper doll factory will have a tremendous economic impact on the area. Fortunately, there are plans, as all of our listeners are familiar with. Fudiki Hiramoto, the Japanese business magnate, has made plans to reopen the paper doll factory, and there will be new jobs brought to Murgatroyd. So at least we have all of that to look forward to. In the meantime, again, I want to thank you, Dr. Derrickson, for your knowledge and insight into Apronhead's psychological state at the time of the atrocity. Now we're going to turn to our hillbilly psychiatrist who drove in from Flattown just to be with us this morning. I want to greet you, Dr. Flips here. Glad to meet you. Glad to have you here in our studio. Well, nice to be here. I had a nice drive down to Sawmill City. It's off the Passat Freeway. I didn't have too much trouble finding this studio here. Nice to meet you. Anyway, you asked me what I thought of Apronhead. I'll put it in a nutshell. I think the child was nutty as a fruitcake. I mean, they went to his apartment. What did they find? A shrine to JFK. He had pictures of Kennedy on the ceiling. He had pictures of Kennedy on the wall. Hell, there was Marilyn Monroe bigger than Dallas. A poster, a 6-foot-tall poster of her right next door to JFK. And what do you have on the VCR? One Marilyn Monroe movie right after the other. I don't know if the child watched them over and over. Hell, that might be what drove him crazy. It's like he was obsessed with Kennedy. He worshipped Marilyn Monroe, and obviously he was obsessed with this little paper doll thing. If I'd been able to get him in my office and spend more time with him, I believe I could have gotten into the depths, into the bowels of Apronhead's mind. What can I say? It's a done deal now. He's gone. There's nothing left but ashes. Well, I think there might have been some charred remains, you know, but what can I say? That Dr. Derrickson has not so eloquently already said. I mean, all of Flattown and Murgatroyd are traumatized by this thing, and hell, we may be weeks or months getting over it. But I'll say this. It's been good for business. My cell phone has been ringing off the hook since this damn thing started. And half the ones calling me used to work at the paper doll factory. Now they're out of a job thanks to Apronhead. Well, fortunately, if this Hiramoto thing comes through and they reopen the paper doll factory, it'll put everybody back to work. It'll stimulate our economy, as they say. And all this trouble and trauma has definitely stimulated my economy. I think all of you kind listeners out there, if any of y'all want to come by for a 30-minute session, I got a comfortable couch. The coffee pot's always on. All you got to do is call. I can't give you my number on the air. Just pick up the phone book. I'm Dr. Flips here over in Flattown, and my office is easy to find.
Recorded live.
Good evening. Welcome to CRZY News with Hugh Millitson. And we take you now to the House Senate hearing into the Vincini Cosmetics Corporation. And we see there Senator Quint will take you live to the hearing. Judy Vincini, you are the owner and CEO of Vincini Cosmetics. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's me.
Allow me, Miss Vincini, to get right to the point. Did you, in fact, insert a low-level, slow-acting acid into the Vincini face cream without the assembly line workers or even the retail consumers who purchase your product from being aware of this?
I think that was the other me. You know, there's the Miss.
Yes, Judy Vincini.
Just a Miss Judy Vincini, cosmetic store owner, and then there's Miss Judy Vincini, the damaged consumer.
Well, Judy, right at this moment in our hearing, we're talking to you, the owner and CEO of the Cosmetic Corporation. Is it a fact that your company, the Vincini Cosmetic Company, is in fact being taken to court in a class action lawsuit brought by thousands of women nationwide who bought and used the tainted face cream?
Yes, they bought it, and I assume that they used it.
And now your company is being sued for that.
Well, yes, that's what they tell me.
Judy, how can you in good conscience sit there and admit that you did something like that?
Well, I don't know who exactly did that. You're talking to Miss Vincini, the CEO, the owner and director of this cosmetics firm. But the other person, that person that I can't control that comes out when I'm not looking, I think she did it. I really can't remember.
Miss Vincini, is it not true that at a certain point in time your face was injured in an accident some years ago?
Yes, that's true.
Well, I'm going to yield the floor to another congressman, and I'm sorry, Ms. Vincini, at this point I have no further questions. Hugh Millicent, back from the Senate hearings into the Vincini Cosmetics. In a totally unrelated story, Vincini Cosmetics was once again the focus of news reports. Shumiko Hiramoto, the daughter of Japanese business magnate Fudiki Hiramoto, was the near victim of the Murgatroyd serial killer. She was walking to her car on the Vincini Cosmetics parking lot when an as yet unidentified assailant attacked her. She managed to escape the assault, essentially unharmed, but everyone left at the scene by the perpetrator. Evidence left there would seem to link the assailant to the other recent unsolved homicides of young women in the Murgatroyd area. And that's CRZY News Bulletin, and we'll be back later. Thank you and good night.
Murgatroyd, you're watching CRZY. CRZY.
Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Crazy Insane Radio, Episode 5. What is that sound of that liquid pouring? Why, that's the sound of the new super duper ultra deluxe soda pop from Drifty's. That's right. Next time you get a drink at Drifty's, don't just make it a double, make it a double double double. And with the new super ultra deluxe burger, make it a double 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 too at Drifty's. Good evening. This is Hugh Millicent. And this is CRZY News Update with Hugh Millicent. In the news today, of course, Apron Head's funeral took place today, and we will have further updates regarding Apron Head's funeral. There was also a suicide note that was left by Apron Head, which has not yet been released by the authorities. But we understand that in the very near future, the authorities will be releasing the contents of the suicide note left by Apron Head. It was found in Apron Head's apartment after the terrible debacle with the burning down of the paper doll factory, and then, of course, Apron Head's self-immolation when he poured gasoline on himself and killed the owner of the paper doll factory and then himself. So, further news coming later regarding Apron Head's suicide note. This is Hugh Millicent, CRZY News. Slidette 2, the unexpurgated essence of sheer femininity. Slap a little bit of Slidette 2 on, and the boys will slide right over next to you. From Vincini Cosmetics. And now, at a triple flex theater near you, curse of the return of the revenge of the son of the walking corpse part 3. They're coming back. There's no stopping them. They're like a deadly virus, spreading like the plague. And with this wonderful double feature, Exile Sex Slaves from Planet Sigma 5. Now playing at a triple flex theater near you. From CRZY, country westerns, greatest hits. You'll get exciting country hits like these. She got herself a job, a J-O-B job, and now she's just over broke. She's raided her daddy's car for a brand new VCR, and now she's just over broke. And you'll get exciting hits like this. Well, my stepson wears a Stetson every Saturday night. He might be a drugstore cowboy, but by God, he looks all right. And then there's the smash hit all of you will remember, this great country hit. Believe as I believe, if you believe it all. And who can forget the unbelievable smash country hit? I tell you, were you aware of the fact? I tell you, were you aware of the fact? How on God's green earth, how on God's green earth, how on God's green earth, I tell you. But that's not all. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you'll get all of these greatest hits available from CRZY's on this country collection, but you'll also get the new jazz novelty hit, Nosferatu.
Hey, Nosferatu, gonna drink some blood tonight. Hey, Nosferatu, hey, Nosferatu, 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 hey, 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 Nosferatu.
All of those exciting country hits available from CRZY's greatest country hits. Hey, Nosferatu, gonna drink some of blood tonight. Hey, Nosferatu, go, Nosferatu, Nosferatu. Do, 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 do. Nosferatu. Do, 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 do. Nosferatu, go, Nosferatu. Hey, Nosferatu, go, Nosferatu, Nosferatu. Nosferatu, wow, Nosferatu.
Recorded live.
Hugh Millitson here with a CRZY News update. The shooting of Senator Quint. As most of us know by now, Senator Quint was the victim of an assassin this morning, an assassin who remains, at the moment, unidentified and at large. The shooting took place on the parking lot of the Prime Deluxe Ultra Hotel. Senator Quint had stepped out of his limousine in the company of a young lady when the shots rang out. The woman, who was unharmed, remains in protective custody as a prime witness. A rifle has been recovered from the rooftop of the nearby Supreme Elite Express Hotel, another high-rise luxury hotel. Repeating, Senator Quint has been assassinated, and the assailant, as yet, remains at large. Those of you from Murgatroyd City and Flattown may recall some of the highlights of the late Senator Quint's career. He was instrumental in the opening of the former paper doll factory. He was the chairman of the House Senate Committee, which investigated the Vincini Cosmetics Corporation. And he later became the love interest of Judy Vincini, the CEO and owner of Vincini Cosmetics. Memorial services for the slain Senator Quint are being scheduled. While we wait for further information about the continuing nationwide manhunt for the assassin, we leave you with this rousing clip from one of Senator Quint's speeches. We did it because we could do it. We are doing it because it can be done. And we will do it because it must be done. And that was a clip from the late Senator Quint. Whether or not you believe in the weather or not, the eyes have it. CRZ Weather Update.
Talk Shoes. Recorded live.
Crazy Insane episode number 7. Crazy Insane Radio, a Rich Vernon production.
Victim survives attack by serial killer. Murgatroyd Times. The first known victim to survive an attack by the serial killer who is terrorizing Murgatroyd City is in stable condition at Mercy Central Hospital this evening. Lieutenant Skinner's lead investigator of the case had this to say to the Times. Shimiko Hiramoto out of Vincini Cosmetics at about 1 o'clock this morning as she left the building on her way to her car. I, along with other detectives, have interviewed her extensively this morning, and at this stage we are prepared to reveal only the following to the press. The assailant was wearing a mask and gloves. There was an older model Chevrolet parked awkwardly on the parking lot. We ask that anyone who may have witnessed the attack or the older model Chevy to come forward with whatever information you might have that might be helpful. If you could be made about Apron Head, Murgatroyd Times. A late action thriller based on the night of destruction here in Murgatroyd City, perpetrated by the demented figure known as Apron Head, is to begin filming within the next 6 months, Hollywood sources revealed today. Vincini stocks up 5 points. In an amazing last-minute rally, the closing stock of Vincini Cosmetics had risen to an all-time high of 34.5, up 5 points during a single business day, making it the biggest single gain the stock had experienced over a 20-year period. Paper doll factory to reopen soon. Fudiki Hiramoto, Japanese business magnate, has announced that the rebuilding of the destroyed flashy paper doll factory is now complete and that production will resume almost immediately. 500 former employees will regain their jobs and an additional 300 plus are to be hired.
Ha-ha! Les Tomac here, inviting you to watch tonight's Les Tomac show, where our guest will be Fudiki Hiramoto, who will discuss his plans to reopen the paper doll factory. He will also weigh in and discuss on the recent attack of his daughter, Shimiko, some of the most recent Murgatroyd serial killer, and she is the first victim to survive. Fudiki Hiramoto on tonight's Les Tomac show.
Recorded live.
Crazy Insane Radio, Episode 8, a Rich Vernado production. At the funeral of Senator Quint. The funeral procession of Senator Quint will proceed down Murgatroyd Avenue. It will take a right from the Sawmill City exit and proceed to Flattown. So we now return you to our regular radio programming. And now, listening audience, another one of our random phone call samples. And that was our random telephone call sample.
Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Crazy Insane Radio, Episode 9. A Rich Bernardo production. Good evening, this is Hugh Millardson with CRZY News. And today we're going on a man in the street interview with ordinary citizens to get their response and reaction to the Senator Quint funeral. Hello, mister. Could you tell us your response to the coverage of Senator Quint's funeral? Yes, sir. My name is Frank, and I've been raised in these parts, and I watched Senator Quint come up. I seen him bring the paper doll in Murgatroyd factory, the factory here to Murgatroyd City. And my wife Suki and I was watching TV the other day when the funeral was going on, and we seen that Vincini Al with the makeup corporation throw a flower down on his casket. And Suki started crying. She was touched by that, and hell, if every one of them that touched him had been there, they wouldn't have had room for all of them. Anyway, you see how much money they spent on that funeral? Hell, they spent more money burying him than it takes to build one of them there Apache helicopters. Then you or me died, they just sewed us in the ground and poured dirt over us, and that'd been all she wrote. That'd been the end of it. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your response.
She's fast and she's smart. She is stylishly brazen. She is the little Ms. Fancy Pants in your family. With new Slide Eat 2, the boys will slide right over next to her. Slide Eat 2, for the little Ms. Fancy Pants in your family. New from Vincini
New Super
Cosmetics.
Deluxe Ultra Burger. You can now get the new Super Deluxe Ultra Fries. And don't just make those fries a double, make them a double. And this week the new Super Duper Deluxe Ultra Drift Soda Pop is also a double. At Drifties.
Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Crazy Insane Radio, Episode 10, a Rich Bernardo production. Good evening, this is Hugh Millardson at CRZY News, and we are going to play a clip today from the moving, emotional eulogy that was delivered at the funeral of Senator Quint today by Judy Vincini.
A man of our times, a man for all times. A part of us died the day he was shot, and a part of us is buried today. Was he a saint? Perhaps not. Are any of us saints? I can only say this. In our brief time together, Senator Quint was my ray of sunshine. His light will continue to shine in the hearts of my fellow citizens. He can never be replaced. I enjoyed a close personal relationship with the senator, and all of you were touched by his charm and his grace. May his memory and influence live on in all of us, of Murgatroyd and Flattown forever. Thank you.
And that was the moving eulogy today, and we have the honor of having Judy Vincini here as a guest in our studio now. She's here with us, the CEO of the Vincini Cosmetics Corporation. Good evening, Judy.
Good evening.
That was a powerful eulogy you delivered earlier today at the funeral. If you would share with our listeners and our viewers, you had a close personal relationship with Senator Quint.
Yes, but you know what? The very first time I saw him there in court, I hated his guts.
As I recall, you were there at the House Senate Committee on the investigation into Vincini Cosmetics.
Yes, that was a very tragic day. However, the ray of sunshine, my new bright knight, my shining man in armor, appeared. At first I thought he was the enemy, but then I realized he was a wonderful man, full of wisdom and wit, and so articulate and so concerned about the good people of our country.
So during the wonderful relationship that the two of you had, it was basically a monogamous relationship?
A what?
A monogamous relationship? Was he exclusively with you, Judy?
Are you crazy? He had a wife.
Well, we know
he was
about...
shot with a hooker. You know, really? What kind of question is this?
Well, we don't want to besmirch the good senator's reputation. I just thought that perhaps you could...
But it's public knowledge. Everybody knows that it's been in the paper for 2 years.
Well, I understand that you're right now still in a state of grief and mourning, but if you were to give advice to all of the citizens of Murgatroyd, what advice would you give to them now to deal with their grief over the senator's death?
Well, it's hard to say. When I first heard about him being shot with a hooker, I was sad. I was upset. I wanted to kill him myself. Then, after a while, I realized there's nothing I can do, and I've lost a friend and a hero and a mentor, a wonderful person you can never replace. I thought maybe this is punishment for me, for everybody, for him. Who knows?
Wow. Thank you for your insight, Judy. We appreciate you being here as our guest. And this has been Hugh Milletson here at the CRZY studio. Good night.
Can I hang up now?